Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rukakudash. Double honors to the apostles as a great millstone for preaching and teaching this truth. Shalom to the whole free elect, beginning with the 144,000. Shalom. Someone titled this lesson, "It's better to be persecuted than to take the mark." And the mark that I'm referring to is the mark of the beast. In other words, known as the RFID chip, the C-hip, and things of that such, right? And if you've been persecuted, for Yahweh Bashin outside, that is a that's a righteous death. So let's go to that real quick. You should be blessed to be persecuted. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 10. And it reads, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven," man. So you should be blessed for these things, that's your lot, to be persecuted, obviously walking up to the guillotine or whatever the case may be, however they, you may be getting tortured, guillotine, gas rooms, or you may get shot. Whatever your lot may be, to being persecuted. But, they're going to be having the guillotine, chopping heads off. But, on the way up there to the guillotine, yeah, you might be a little scared or a little nervous or, don't nobody just want to die. You know what I mean? Even y'all shall ask, ask Yahweh, ask the Heavenly Father, like, hey, is it another way? But this be your will, hey, this what it shall be, just rough and paraphrasing, summing it all up, but this is a great thing to happen, to be persecuted because it's for righteousness' sake, man. You rather to die for Yahweh Bashin Yahushua than to give in to Esau, system, things of that such, right? Whatever the case may be. Verse 11, he say, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." For Yahweh's sake, right? And that word revile, I got the definition right here. Hold on, let me make sure this shit. So like, yeah, what is this shit? I done messed up something. Y'all bear with me.
Strong's G 3679, anidizo.
So the word being anadizo, and we'll go down to the strong definition. It say to defame, relate, chide, taunt, casting teeth, suffer, reproach, revile, upbraid. So basically make you suffer. Like that says, Elder Pastor Gabar went over this word about like 2 months ago, 2-3 months ago, and it so happened to slip my mind in the definition. But we seen what the strong definition was, but like I say, you should be blessed for these things, right? Continuing on verse 12, he said, "Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." So you have to understand, right? And they did the things to, if they, beheaded and killed, the apostles before us, like Paul, John the Revelator, things of that. So it's even Yahushua, what you think they gonna do to us, man? You think you just go get off the hook easy? Nah, man, we gotta go through the same thing that they had to go through. Maybe some of us that may not have to go through their persecution, but the ones that does, just know that your reward is going to be the kingdom of heaven. You're going to receive that crown of life. You should be glad to be persecuted. So I can fall that wizard. But you should be glad, happy, proud, and bold to be getting persecuted, man. Because, at the end of the day, hey, your reward is the kingdom of heaven, right? So let's see what else we want. Grab this real quick in Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. And it reads, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Heavenly Father, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 8,000 years. So as you can see, John the Revelator, he's seen it. You know, this is a future prophecy, right? He said, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, man. He said, judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. You know, so yes, this is a judgment. You know, continuing on, he said, for the word of the Heavenly Father, and which had not worshipped the beast. So it was prophets, you know, elect members that was persecuted, that was beheaded for, you know, for Yahushua's sake, you know, for the word of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, for not worshiping the beast, for not giving the Esau system, you know, for not receiving the Arafadito, things of that such, right? He said, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years, man. So you're going to live, you know, you got to have the kingdom of heaven, you go rule with the Yahushua. And you'll see that, you being persecuted was well worth it. You know, it was well worth it. You know, you showed the Most High that you 10 toes down. You showed them how bold you was. You showed them that you endured until the end. You showed them how much faith and hope you had. You know, and your reward was the kingdom of heaven. Your reward was the crown of life. You know, and the elect, those are the one that got the victory over the, you know, over Esau, over the beast, right? So, Blizz 15 chapter. Revelation 15, and I get at verse 2. And the reason I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. So that sea of glass is referring to the firmament, you know. Let me make sure I believe that's what it is. But yeah, the AK, the ozone layer, you know. So let's continue on. He said mingled with fire. Where those fires come from? The nuclear warheads or nuclear missiles, you know, along with the chariots. What the world calls UFOs would just mean unidentified flying objects. What those unidentified flying objects does have names, you know, according to the Bible. No, but let's continue on. He's saying then they got in the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass. So they stand watching on the sea of glass over the firmament, watching, having the hearts of the Heavenly Father. So the elect, you know, they got the victory over the beast, and above the firmament, they was watching this place be destroyed. As in this place being, you know, Babylon the Great, aka America, you know, watch Esau get taken out of rulership, watch Esau kingdom be destroyed, watch Esau age, of this life age, you know, be done away with, right? So, let's see what else I wanted here. 2 Timothy 2 and 12. And it reads, I started verse 11. I started verse 10. So like I started verse 9. He said, wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds, but the word of the Heavenly Father is not bound. Therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sakes, that they may also attain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahushua with eternal glory, man. And that's how you should always, that's the spirit you should be in, to endure to the end. You know, to endure and do all things for the elect's sake. You know, because we know that the elect is going to attain that salvation, you know, when Yahushua, you know, brings judgment upon this earth, right? He said that eternal glory, man, that everlasting life, the immortality bodies, things of that such, right? Continuing on, he said, verse 11, he said, it is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live through him. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him, around with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. So, hey, if you sit up here and deny Yahushua, you know, deny Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, what you think he'll do to you? He's going to deny you. So, with you taking it off ID chip, you know, that's you denying Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. and that's you having faith in Esau kingdom, and Esau system. So if you sit up here and deny Yahushua, what I'm seeing on verse 13 said, if we believe not, yet he about a faithful, he cannot deny himself, right? So if you sit up here and deny Yahushua, hey, Yahushua's gonna deny you. You understand? Like I say, if we believe not, yet he about a faithful, he cannot deny himself. So let's get another quick precept. James 1:12. And all this does go to the hour of temptation as well, man. This talks about Revelation 3:10. But let's get this in James real quick. So I can bear with me. James 1:12. And the read say, blessed is the man that endure temptation. Because there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be tempted to receive this RFID. Going to be a lot of, people and even brothers in the truth is going to be tempted to receive this RFID. That's the hour of temptation, right? Your bank account going to be froze. Can't go into the store to buy food and water. You can't go to work because you don't have this chip. You can't pay the bill, so your lights off. You don't got no electricity. Taking cold showers. You being hunted. Martial law going on. All these things going on. But the only way you're going to be able to survive in Esau kingdom is if you abide by his system. And this system is going to be the RFID chip. So let's continue on, man. And that's going to be the hour of temptation, man. So you have to endure the thing, these afflictions, these tribulations, these temptations. Hey, we got to endure all these things, man. Like I say, Matthew 24:13. He that shall endure until the end, these saying shall be saved, man. If it was going to be easy, it wouldn't be no endurance, right? Hey, this is all part of the straight gate. STRAIT, that difficult gate. Hey, that short and narrow path, or that skinny and narrow path. Let's continue on. He said, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him, man. So you're going to receive the crown of life. Like, there's a promise from Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, that crown of life, man, because you endured us in the end. Hey, you stayed faithful. You kept my words. You abided by me. You abided by my law. So therefore, I'm going to reward you. And along with that crown of life is also other many beautiful things that comes with that, man. So being persecuted, for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is a great thing, You'll definitely want to be persecuted rather than receive this mark. Cause you receive this mark, what's going to happen? You're going to be killed. You're going to die. You're not going to be saved. So you're not going to see that crown of life. So this is the book of Revelation 14 and verse 9. And it reads, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Heavenly Father, man. So you gotta be partaking of the Heavenly Father's wrath. You have to be destroyed, man, because you sit up here and you believe in Esau's system rather than Yahweh Basha Yahushua. Because you got threatened. Because you were being tortured. Because you got right under the guillotine and folded. Because you seen your rib cage. Because you were starving to death. Because your kids starving to death. Because it looked cool to have the RFID chip. Is all that shit worth it? Then receiving that crown of life, the kingdom of heaven, being part of the elect. Come on, you have to endure these things. So which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, man, so that righteous judgment. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb, man. We know that the Lamb is Yahushua. And we know that Yahweh coming back with those angels, thousands of angels, right, to bring judgment upon the wicked, the other nations, and etc. You're right, Babylon the Great, Israel, and things of that such. So we'll finish it off with Revelation 2:10, and it reads, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer." Okay, you gotta understand, we going to suffer. These are the things we have to suffer. So like, these are the things we have to suffer. Say, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. The devil being Esau, he said that ye may be tried. So you're going to be tried. They will tell you to call upon him. JC, they will be telling you to receive this chip. You're going to be getting tortured. They ain't going to feed you. No water. And I'm referring to, the FEMA counts, aka prison, however you want to put it, right? He said, ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life, man. So Yahweh Shai, along with Yahweh, just ask you to be faithful unto death, man. Hey, to be faithful unto all the way to the end. Why you think it's going to be so hard? That's why you only require faith as a grain of a mustard seed, man. Hey, that's how hard it's going to be, man. But if you are the elect, hey, you don't have nothing to worry about. You endure these things, you keep the faith, and you shall receive the crown of life, man. The Lord is not a liar. That is a great reward. Because what comes with that crown of life and immortality bodies and the kingdom of heaven comes with way more things with that. Treasures, wives, rulership, slaves. Hey, everything you want, happiness, peace, you know. So with that being said, Lord willing, this was the edifying lesson. Once again, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, the great millstone, and shalom to the whole elect. Shalom.